Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality in a way that is extremely empowering. Speaking of exploring powerful perspectives, I'm super excited to announce the release of my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. If you're ready to alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level in 2021, head over to goldenkey.gift to download the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD.
Hello, everyone. All right, well, we'll get started. Those of you that just joined us, Jalil and Anna, this is an open forum, so if we would love to have you here up on stage, just raise your hand. We started this room, the intention of the room. Brandon just wrote a book called The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. If you click on my profile, you can see a little bit more about how you can get it. Go to goldenkey.gift. But so that was our intention for starting this room is, one, we wanted to have a space to come and kind of talk about these concepts that are in the book. And two, Brandon has been doing the positive, and Erica, Brandon's been doing the Positive Head podcast for about 5 years. And then Erica joined him as a co-host about, I think, 2 years ago. Is that right, Erica?
Officially, yeah, like more on a regular basis. But I started working probably with the podcast back in, 2016-ish.
That's right. Yes. So they co-host the Positive Head podcast together. And so a big part of this room was Brandon has been really wanting to connect more directly with listeners and fans and just anyone who's interested in talking about all these ideas about the ultimate nature of reality and how we can shift our perspectives to create more abundance and manifestation in our lives. So that is the intention of the room. We are recording. It will be posted on tomorrow's episode, so you can hear yourself on there. So yeah, please, anyone and everyone, raise your hand, come up here on stage, and we'll get the conversation going. With that being said, I already see some beautiful people up here. So I already kind of gave Brandon a little introduction, but Brandon, you want to add anything about yourselves?
Let's see. I have on striped socks right now, and they're really nice.
Most crucial fact about him. And then I am Karen. I am Brandon's partner. I am a speech language pathologist. I just got my master's and just started my first job. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm also passionate about all the things that we're sharing about here. And Erica, you want to give a little intro?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Erica, and I'm a naturopathic physician and a QHHT practitioner. So I guide people into past life regression and contact with their higher self. And yes, I'm complete. That's my story for today. I am complete.
Okay, awesome. So now I'm going to go to the people that are up here on stage with us. Sorry, that's our doorbell. So everyone up here on stage, I'm going to go around and just kind of call on you. And then if you want to give a little intro about yourself, and then if there's anything you want to ask or something that's been bubbling up for you,
While I do this and say hi to everybody, and excited to listen in. Obviously, a longtime listener and of the podcast, and yeah, just excited to kind of just be in a kind of receiving mode on this one. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. Receiving is just as important as giving. We're so glad to have you here. All right, Brooklyn, you want to give a little intro and anything that's coming up for you or a question you want to pose to the group?
Hello. First time in Clubhouse and a 3-week listener of the podcast. I don't really have too much details about myself except for that I am an anthropology student from Georgia State University. And I've just been kind of going through my own journey through life, and I'm really excited to, I guess, dive deep into what life is for me, but really just connecting with others, I feel like has been like my main message that I've been receiving. And I'm really excited just to connect with a lot of people and to listen to other perspectives.
Awesome. I love that. Well, you definitely came to the right place, Brooklyn. We're happy to have you here and connect. Next, I see on stage Tony. Tony, you want to share about yourself and share anything that's coming up for you or a question that's sparked by kind of the topic or title of this group?
Yeah, so thanks for pulling me up. I tend to join any groups that say anything about manifestation because, well, I've read many books, studied it for years, but still feel like I'm struggling. I've not heard of the podcast. Can't wait to go hear it. First time hearing about the book, so I can't wait to take a look at that as well. But yeah, I mean, if we want to start some conversation, I was laid off probably a year and a half ago, and I'm older. I'm 49, and I'm still trying to determine what I want to do when I grow up. So, in terms of manifestation, I'm trying to work out, really how you bring about, what's your true passion, what path you should go down. And like I said, I know I'm kind of doing this later in life, but I don't want to go back to what I was doing. I was in banking for 30 years, and I've had enough, really done. So if anyone could speak to that, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, I would love to speak to that, and then maybe after whoever feels inspired to speak to it, we can go on and hear from Sophia and Anna. And so Tony, interestingly enough, on yesterday's I recorded it yesterday, a podcast with a woman, and that's her whole thing is people finding their path next, career wise. And it was a little less esoteric than most of the normal episodes that we do, which is great. I like to mix it up sometime. And one thing that she said to me that you'll hear forthcoming coming out on next Wednesday when I release it, is she talked about go to people around you and say, hey, what are my strengths? She first off names like the 10 different types of abilities that people tend to have, and 10 or 11, I think. And then going to people around you and say, hey, what would you say are the strongest, abilities that I have based off of your perception? And she said that you'll always be shocked at how much feedback that you'll get from people in regards to that. And so I think first is really identifying where your strengths are, and having been 30 years in one in the same industry, it sounds like. I think people get the idea when something like that happens, like this is what I do, this is what I can do, and can get like really dealing with limiting beliefs. And so the most important thing I would say to you is to understand that you really tap into the truth that you're capable of so much. And if what you want, what you seek is seeking you. If you're wanting to have a more fulfilling career path, that's already set the wheels in motion. The universe is already conspiring in your favor. It's now creating the right conditions to allow that to emerge. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it was you that said you weren't aware of the podcast. I mean, stuff like that is a great place. This is what me and Erica talk about until the wheels fall off. So, and I just wrote a book as well called The Golden Key, which I'm gifting to people. You can go to goldenkey.gift and download the audio or ebook, and it goes into, it's basically modern alchemy to unlock infinite abundance, and talks about all this, but very distilled in about a 3-hour read or listen. So, yeah, just understanding that you are first and foremost so worthy of what it is that you want, and that when you start to step to explore outside of what's quote unquote the normal thing for yourself, it's incredible how much can open up. And the only thing that really keeps people from unlocking so much more for themselves is these limiting stories. I'm too old. I'm too, like you said, for example, I'm older. You're 49. I'm 46, and I'm like, if anyone who knows me, it's like I'm the biggest kid you probably ever know. And so I'm telling a story around my age. I say I'm 46 years young. So and it's just the only thing I'm good at is telling stories. And the thing is that once you start to understand that you're one with the source consciousness that creates and animates all things, and therefore you are the creator and created rolled into one, once you start going on that journey and uncovering that ultimate truth, you realize like how important it is. What story am I telling around this thing? But I've been going, because I just launched this book, I've been going on a lot of other podcasts lately. And a lot of times I'll ask, what's the one thing you want to leave listeners with? And I love that, because the first thing that comes to my mind is like, you are more worthy than any other, I'm sorry, not more worthy, as worthy as any other being has been, could be, or will be, to have the things that you want and to unlock a deeply fulfilling, enriching, incredible journey from here forward as a 49-year-old young woman. And so it starts with understanding a lot of that stuff. And then from there, it becomes, following the breadcrumbs. And when you get in that state of excited anticipation and trust and faith and belief in who and what you're a part of, and you're essentially a part of everything, which is why you're as worthy as anyone ever could be, would be, should be. The universe has 14 billion years of evolution to culminate with you in this moment. And, just coming from that place is the foundation to lead to all the doors opening that you will want to open for you. And so that's my starting point on the journey to leave you with. And I'm sure someone else has some things to add to this as well.
I mean, that's kind of hard to follow, Brandon.
That's what I was thinking, Karen. I was like, well, I'm not sure what more we could say after that, Brandon.
No, and that's awesome, and I really appreciate it. I mean, I believe that I am on the right path. I know that if I wanted to go back into banking, I know I would have no problem doing that. But the thought of it makes me ill, so I know that is not the right path. So I feel good. I feel good. I'm just, I think I'm just looking for that encouragement, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
One of the things that really like resonated with me this morning was that I was listening to one of my devotionals talking about being me unapologetically, and one of the quotes that just
Brooklyn,
kept
sorry, I
on.
hate to interrupt you, but you're a little soft, so I'm wondering if maybe you could hold your microphone or whatever you're speaking into a little closer so we can hear you better.
Is this a little bit better?
That is, thank you.
Okay, cool. Sorry. But one of the things that really resonated with me this morning was that I was listening to one of my devotionals called Me Unapologetically. And one of the quotes that keep on like echoing in my head was actions by actions and step by step. Who I am and will be are in one accord. And that just, it kept on like echoing in my brain. And when you realize that, whatever choices you do make for yourself, because life is about choices, and whatever you do for yourself is what you do for yourself. I feel like you understand that there's more control for you, that you can make those decisions and you can be happy with those decisions. And there's a lot of acceptance and love that comes with that too.
I love that. That's so beautiful. It's definitely like, yeah, I love that. I just love the way you put it. Let's see, we've had some more people join us on the stage. And so let's see, Sophia, I see you also have the little party hat, so you're new to Clubhouse. Welcome. Do you want to give a little intro, and is there anything bubbling up or something you want to share or ask to the group?
Oh, hi. I'm Sophia, and I'm new. Yeah, I'm new to Clubhouse. This is my first time being on. I heard about it through Positive Head podcast. I've been a listener for a while, and I'd say had a really busy like end of the year last year, and I kind of got, I don't know, maybe like in a rut. Maybe like I just turned off a little bit, and I was feeling kind of like not myself the last couple of weeks. And I was like, you know what? I haven't listened to my Positive Head podcast in a while. I haven't been doing yoga. I haven't been doing my mindfulness. And so made a point to start doing that. Like this Monday, heard some really great podcasts from Brandon, and just feeling much better and much more open to receiving the gifts and receiving abundance. So happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you for being here, Sophia. And what you're speaking to, or what you just shared, really makes me think of kind of what Tony was asking too. It's like the number one thing to figure out where you're going to go next, because that's where Tony's at. Like, okay, what is my next move? I don't quite know. The number one thing is managing your vibration and getting yourself into that state of excited anticipation. Everything is emerging as a result of your vibrational presence and offering. So, that's why I always say, what's my next job? We all have the same job, managing our vibration. And from that, finding ways, whatever that may be, to get into that state. Maybe it's yoga, maybe it's listening to a podcast like Positive Head, maybe it's doing something completely different, but that gets you in that, going rock climbing or whatever it may be. For me, talking about the subject, and it's why I started doing the show 5 days a week, and I know Erica would agree, the same thing. It's like by talking about it, we're just drumming up the vibration. And so we're getting into that excited, childlike, joyous state that then, it attracts that which is like unto itself is drawn. So good for you, Sophia, on actually catching and being aware of like, where is my vibration? Because if it's low, diminished, fearful, cut off, any of those things, what you're going to create and attract will be a vibrational match to that. So this is, one of the most empowering things to realize. And I love talking about it too, because it's like we teach best what we most need to learn. I'm someone who can go very quickly into all my work and like just dive straight into work, like head first. I have so much on my plate. I'm getting up, and it's, Karen sometimes looks at me and is like, how do you pop out of bed so quickly? And it's like, because I'm like, oh, I've got stuff to do. Go, 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 go. When really at times the best thing I could do is slow down and do some yoga and breath work and meditation and get myself into that expanded state. And then you're working smarter, not harder, because you're really working with, setting your vibrational tone. So I just wanted to add that. You made me think of it, Sophia, so thank you.
I want to add to this, Brandon, too, because when you're getting into that higher vibrational state, that's when you realize how worthy you are. So going back to what you said earlier, like you get into the state and you realize that you are everything, you are one with it all, and that you're worthy of everything that you could possibly imagine. And just by following what we're passionate about, like following those breadcrumbs of our passion, that is how we even continue to increase our vibration. And then the path in front of us is just so clear because we're doing the things that we love and it feels good. And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go that way.
Yeah, totally. And I was started listening to your book, Brandon, this week. And one part that really, registered with me was talking about how we think that we have to like do to have to be, and that's actually in reverse, and that we need to be to have to do. And I was like, wow, that's really registering with me right now.
Yeah, that's a big one. Be it to see it. Like it's crazy if you're doing something like work in order to have something like money, in order to be something like happy. You're anytime you're doing something to get somewhere, it's like you're and then it's like you're chasing your own creations. In a sense, it's like you be it, and it attracts the things that are a vibrational match to what you are being. And so this is how you like call it to yourself instead of you know, sort of chasing your own tail.
I love that. So good. That's one of my favorites, the be do have. I'm glad you brought that up, Sophia. It's such a simple shift in perspective, and it really takes the pressure off you too, because it's so much easier to be than it is to do. So it really relieves that stress. Um, all right, cool. I really love how this conversation is flowing so far. I wanted to just put it out there because I've seen some more people pop in while we've been chatting. This is an open forum, you guys. So if you guys are listening in and you'd like to raise your hand and also come join us here on stage, please do, and we'll let you up. We really want to make this open to everyone and keep the conversation going. But with that being said, next on the stage, I see Anna or Anna. Not sure which.
Hi, it's
Hi.
Anna. Hi,
Hi.
Brandon.
Hey, it's so good to see you in here.
It's so good to see you. This is crazy. I feel like this is a manifestation in itself. Like this whole time, this whole year, I have been like visualizing some sort of platform where people could just get together and just come in here and talk. Unfortunately, I can't stay too long because I have 3 kids who keep me very, very, very busy around this time. It's school night, so it's very sad that I can't usually stay here long the way I want to stay, but it is what it is. So I'm just here because I just want to say thank you for allowing this to happen for all humankind so they can just be here and unite. And I'm just grateful for everything that you're doing. I have been following Brandon from the first episode of Positive Head with aliens. So it has been quite a journey. He's been part of my life and part of my spiritual journey. And then I had to unplug from Positive Head and just kind of go look for my own way and look for my own guides. And it has been a wonderful journey. Then came back to Brandon, and Brandon has grown more. I have grown more. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is a rainbow. So glad that this is here for everybody. Thank you for all you beings. I am grateful for all of you.
Oh, yay. It's so good to hear from you and connect with you. And yeah, we've connected, so everyone knows we've talked here and there online for years, and you get to see your whole family, and you have such a beautiful family. And I want to offer something that I noticed when you were speaking. This is such a big thing. It's like, and it's so natural for all of us. We all do it. I still fall into it at times, but you started talking about how it was unfortunate and it was sad, and it was, in talking about your limited ability to be here. Now we can tell that same story differently. Isn't it so fortunate that I have the opportunity to spend a little bit of time here this evening, and I'm so happy that I have these beautiful children in my life, right? And I know you feel that way, but it's like we use this wording in a way that it's
Buddy.
it's it's vibrational. So, just one of the most powerful things we can ever do is just self-analyze and really rewrite. I mean, that's why one of my favorite, you said you've been listening since the very, very beginning, as I know. And it's like, I don't know if you ever heard Mark England, who does Procabulary. He's been on a few times, but I love his work specifically because he just analyzes every word, in that way. And so that's what really started with me paying really close attention to, when we use these words, sort of, because our culture has taught us, like, oh yeah, that's kind of how you would frame it. Oh, it's unfortunate, it's too bad, and it's like, no, there's a whole different way to say it, and it will register different. It will attract different experiences. It will attract different things, and so I just want to add that, and that's what you get for coming in a room live with me.
Thank you. I appreciated that. I needed to hear that. That's probably why I came here to hear that, because, we forget sometimes. Like, there's a thing that you say sometimes, you fall off the wagon, and I have fallen like quite a few times, and I'm like, okay, get back to it. What is the next step that I need to do? So it's pain. I've learned in this, as more as I go into this spiritual journey, is like the more I go in, the more I gain and the more pain, but then the more happiness that there is. So it's like I'm not really losing anything, I'm gaining everything. So yes, I forget because I got that monkey mind, but I appreciate for you saying that. So here I am, getting myself back on that wagon.
Yes. And it's not to diminish what you're really getting at either, by the way. Like my mother had three children. I have one who's pretty grown now, but three is like, you deserve a medal. And so I know, even though you love them to pieces, I'm sure that it can be really challenging. And of course those challenges are designed too. And what's great about when we start to reframe our relationships, or the things that we're sort of obligated to, and make them our friends, as opposed to like a problem, then it all of a sudden will change the way they show up. It's like what I found in my journey is like everything is so neutral by design, and then how we paint it is going to determine how it shows up. Even with people, I mean, I remember having someone come into my life, a business partner, years ago, and saying, "I'm not sure if you're the devil or an angel." I remember kind of saying that to him, because you could see it's like, and it's almost like I feel, and this gets pretty out there, but like all the different timeline potentials of how things can play out. And maybe I think of this often, like in different timelines, like this person who I'm like just getting along marvelously with and is a great ally, maybe there's another timeline where I decided to look at them and paint them in a different light, and then they abracadabra, I create as I speak. I'm in my own private universe, and I'm creating this prop in my movie to show up in a certain way. And that whole idea really fascinates me when it comes to other people. And some of you probably heard me tell the story, that from years ago, where Brad Pitt supposedly, like him and this is like 15 years ago, where Angelina Jolie were close to a divorce, and she was anorexic, and they weren't getting along, and it was like almost over. And he started just holding the vision of, I'm only going to see the good in her. I'm only going to focus on that. I'm only going to, I'm going to bring her flowers. And all of a sudden it just like turned everything around. She started gaining weight. She started gaining, when you play with this idea that you're the lead director, actor in your own private movie, and everyone is a prop in your movie. Like I talk about so often, it gets really weird when you start playing with how others show up, and our perspective of, what the experience is paints it.
Yes, so good. I love that story, and I know that Brandon sometimes does this to me, and I can say it does work. I've caught you doing it before, and I enjoy it. Thank you, Brandon.
I'm making you pretty.
I know you do it. No, I remember remember one time in particular, I was being kind of snappy, and then he came back at me and he was like, "You're always so pleasant to be around." And I was like, "Damn, I know what he's doing." But it made me reflect and think about, like, I was being like, it made me reflect. It was like a way of pointing out how I was being without pointing out how I was being, which obviously anyone who's in a romantic relationship knows that would have been a bad move. but but anyways, don't want to go down that rabbit hole. So next up on the stage, and thank you, Anna. Oh, I also just wanted to say thank you so much. Just back to the content of what you were saying. Thank you so much for sharing your gratitude to us and to Brandon, and to Erica for what they're creating with the Positive Head podcast, and obviously Brandon's other projects as well. I see day to day how hard Brandon is working, and he's not kidding when he like literally pops out of bed. It's like unnerving. Like, who doesn't hit their snooze button? He just like pops right up and gets right back to work and goes right back to his office, and he works so hard every day to offer these things to everyone. And so we really appreciate getting that sort of positive feedback, because it really makes it all worth it to hear, like, oh, all of this work that's being put in and all of this intention is being received in the way that it's meant to. It's really, really meaningful and exciting. So thank you, Anna.
Could I say just one more thing?
Sure.
Okay, I feel like I've been the witness, like on the other side. It has been a beautiful thing to just be the listener and just seeing Brandon just grow and sharing everything and just putting his vulnerability outside and just like it's like a reminder of being a human being. Like you are here in this life, and you know you roll with the punches, but then how are you going to pick up, like how are you going to get up with the attitude, right? A lot of us don't know, so then you have someone who's been struggling and is finding that and is sharing that, and that right there is a gift. And seeing him growing and developing and blossoming into this beautiful flower, I feel like that is the gift for me. There's nothing more, nothing less that I could say other than just this.
Hey, can I
Oh,
jump?
thank you.
I want to jump on that bandwagon too, as long as we're talking about how awesome Brandon is.
Ooh,
I
watch your ego,
Oh,
Brandon.
geez.
I know. Be careful. I jumped on here last week, and I hadn't heard of your podcast. I hadn't heard of this. I hadn't heard of any of those things, and I've spent the last week downloading a lot of them, and I downloaded your book, and I'm going to start that later on tonight. It's what you're creating is amazing. The simplicity with which you explain the importance of being, and how abundance is a way of being, and the way that you make it something that's so easily accessible and easy to understand, and then just so simple to switch whatever's happening in my life in that moment is amazing. So thank you for that.
Thank you guys. I'm like over here blushing and so smiling, and thank you all for saying it. I really, that is my aim, is to try and bring as much of this down to earth as possible. And of course, anyone who's in this room, it's like you can't, right back to what I've been saying, it's like it's all vibrational. So anything that I'm doing is such a close vibrational match to you that you're connected to it, drawn to it, resonating with it. So all of us in this room, like, we're doing something great, and it is being authentic and real, and coming from a place of well-intentioned. It's like Erica has started out supporting the podcast. Let me just help you book. And then it's like, okay, let me, hey, Erica, I'm going to be traveling. Would you mind filling in? I've gotten to know you really well now, and you've got so much wisdom. Will you fill in? Sure, Brandon, sure. Just so helpful. And now she's carrying so much and doing, and it's all coming from such a like well-intended place. And it just feels really good to be surrounded by people who get it, and just want to lift others up at the same time. I mean, that's what feels really best to me, and that's why I do any of this that I do, is like, if it helps, like to hear Lewis, like, oh, you kind of got connected in here last week, and now you've went down the rabbit hole some more, and it's you've really found some benefit there. It's like, well, I'm fueled for the next 100 episodes. Like, if I can just do that, from time to time, it feels so rewarding. And the great thing is, we all have this ability to, touch others. And that's really the core of what I want to like share with everyone always, is like, look, it's in you. You've got it. Like, we're all so divine. We're all these divine sparks, every single one of us. Anyone listening, like, if you down and out or any of that, like, congratulations, that's a part of the journey your soul signed up for. And behind it all, you are literally the prince or princess waiting to fully wake up in the castle that is your creation. Like, you are literally divine, and it's just so magnificent and marvelous what all of us are, and our potential, and especially where we're at in the journey. We're all just like, as I always say, we're coming out of the COVID chrysalis. And funny enough, I've been saying that on the show for months, the whole time COVID. And then tonight, right after this, here at the Mystic Manor, for those of you who don't know, me and Karen live at a communal property in LA, Venice Beach. And we are having our first like kind of official gathering of yoga, dance, dharma, like mashup like event. And the day that it starts and the doors are opening again for community to come in, we also have visionary art all over the walls. And what do you know? One of the pieces sold because they're all originals and people can buy them. And so the artist contacted us and like, oh, someone bought this one. Can you ship it for us? And so went and shipped it this morning. So I come down this morning. I'm like, oh wow, we're gonna have like a gathering here tonight. Whoa, it's we're coming out of the chrysalis, and the piece that sold is like a woman inside of a chrysalis floating in the universe. Was out of like 50 pieces around the house, you know. And I'm like, of course, it's like so symbolic, and that's happening with each and every one of us. Is like we're not only collectively as a society, but we're all blooming into something like so magnificent. And wherever you are in that process, I know different people in this room are probably at a different place in that process. It's like, the saying, no mud, no lotus. So if you're in the mud, that's a necessary part to become the lotus. And so exciting to just take the journey and watch everyone bloom.
Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a moment to tell you a little bit about my very first book, The Golden Key: Modern Alchemy to Unlock Infinite Abundance. The concept for the book initially came to me in a dream and has been followed by a next level amount of synchronicity, confirming for me that the information in the book is pertinent to get to the world at this moment in our collective evolution. In the book, I share the 8 keys to manifesting abundance that I've personally discovered over 25 years of trial, error, and deep exploration, including one golden key that ultimately ties them all together. I think most of you will agree with me that talk is a bit cheap, especially these days, and results speak the loudest of all. Well, these keys have led me to manifesting incredible results, such as an Inc. fastest growing private company, uncanny health, incredible relationships, and success with this podcast. However, I'm not any more special than you, and anyone can apply this information to achieve incredible results in their own life. I also believe waking up our planet by sharing these keys to abundance is the quickest way to help us to transition our home into the planet of paradise it is destined to become, which is why I'd like to gift the book to you at goldenkey.gift when you use the golden key code POSITIVEHEAD. I would also like to invite you to create your own unique golden key code so you in turn can gift the book to others, as well as invite you to participate in a unique abundance manifestation game with me and the other readers that is outlined in detail at the end of the book and on the website, where readers are also going to share the inspiring results of their abundance manifestation experiments. Lastly, I'm going to practice what I preach by sharing 50% of the abundance generated from the golden game and sale of the other golden goodies on the website with you and all the other readers. So if you're ready to alchemize the circumstances in your life so that your abundance expands to an entirely new level, head over to goldenkey.gift to download the audio or ebook as my gift to you by using the code POSITIVEHEAD. Also, if you end up loving and appreciating your gifted copy of the book, please take a moment to go to Amazon and give it a review, which will greatly help me reach and unlock more hearts with the golden key.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Brandon. Yeah, it was so synchronistic when that painting first got bought. It's always bittersweet. I'm like, oh, it's always so sad to see a painting go, but exciting for the artist. And then when I, just leaned into it a little more, I was like, actually, this is a excellent sign. This woman emerging from the chrysalis is leaving the manor, and we've been talking about emerging from the COVID chrysalis, and it definitely, it's in the air. Spring has sprung. I'm sure everyone can relate to something in their own life of feeling like, things that seeds you've planted are starting to come to harvest. It's definitely the energy of the time right now is just that spring energy blossoming. So good. All right. Well, we have Thea has been on the stage and we haven't heard from you yet. We'd love to hear from you. What's up?
Hi, Karen. So my name's Thea. I've been a long time listener of the podcast as well. Surprise, surprise. And well, first, I just need to jump on the bandwagon of loving on all of you
Oh
as
boy.
Yeah. But I'll keep it brief. I'll keep it brief.
No, we
No,
appreciate
go
it.
on.
Keep going. No, continue, please.
I mean, yeah. So, all the things that Lewis said before completely resonate with me. And Brandon, you have such a beautiful way of articulating and simplifying very complex ideas. And Erica knows how much I absolutely adore her and the way, the perspective that she always brings and your insight and just gentle manner of conveying, again, such profound information. And Karen, I'm so happy that we've had the pleasure to start to get to know each other. And thank you so much for your beautiful insights.
Oh, yay,
So,
thank you.
oh, you are so welcome. So, I've been up here before, and I was speaking to Brandon earlier this week and Karen, and we were talking about attracting what you're looking for, and sort of the whole be, have, or do, have, be in reverse, right? So, just to kind of bring everyone up to speed. So I've been sort of struggling with what's my dharma, and I've been feeling for a few months now, like in this place of lack, more so than feeling in the place of abundance, and sort of trying to I was grasping at that concept of abundance. And so I came to the realization a couple of weeks ago that my dharma is to do what we're doing right now. Like, I love talking about this stuff, discussing the true nature of reality, kind of bringing it up and looking at it from different angles with different people, and having people just kind of, watching the spark in their eyes when they realize something, or like it just strikes them. And so I came to that realization, and earlier this week I brought it to Karen Brandon. I said, what do I do with this? Like, what's the next step? I have no idea what I'm supposed to do here. And they both said the same thing that Brandon was saying earlier today. Just kind of have to, relax. Erica was saying earlier, follow the breadcrumbs. They were saying all of this. And so literally that was like 4 days ago. And so I did that. I tried to relax into it and just kind of let it be. And just over the last 4 days, I've had 2 people approach me to talk about these things, and kind of get together and brainstorm. And, these are individuals who I did not know had that perspective. So that's been really cool. And then, of course, I pop on here and I'm in the room for a couple of minutes, and then I get invited up on the stage to talk about these things. So, manifestation at its best. And so, yeah, I just wanted to bring that up.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing. And that's, I think a lot of times people can get into this mindset of, it's too late for me. There's not enough room. There's too many people doing this, that, or the other, and I can never do what Erica does, or, whatever the stories that we weave around these kinds of things. And it's like, if you are, trust me, obviously I know why you love to be lit up talking. You said it so well, like that spark in someone's eye. It's like, it's the most addictive thing ever to help someone to expand their perspective in a way that is going to ripple out and affect them, their children, it's like a good virus. It's like planting a seed that is going to sprout even when you're no longer there, and in their presence. And so, I applaud you for, getting into the vibrational state of like, yeah, once, just like I said earlier, this is such a match for you. That's why you're here. That's why you've been here for most of these, I believe. And so it's like, you're really like, you're calling it in, you're being it, you're jumping into the vibrational pool. And then of course it's like, it's rippling out, and then it's like reflecting back, and then it's coming back to you. And this is how the momentum goes. And there is no shortage of people that need what you have. And I actually, would offer this to Tony as well. It's like, from this moment forward, there is something for you that is the absolute utmost fulfilling thing you could do that you're more perfectly designed to do than any other person. So there's someone that Thea is going to come across that my brand of, sharing these perspectives maybe wouldn't resonate as well for one myriad of reasons. It's like, but she'll have like the perfect way, maybe, or they need a more gentle, like Erica's voice, and that's one of the reasons I loved integrating her. It's like, okay, let's get some calm, cool perspective here because I'm a little bit of a spaz, and it's and so it's really, there's so much room and there's so much need, and when you're aligning with that, this kind of work, helping to lift others up, and I mean, like, now you're playing with like energies that are like really, really wanting to support you. And so the only thing that can get in our way a lot of times with it is our own story around it, that there's not enough time, or there's not enough room, or there's not enough this, or I'm not perfect enough at it, or it's like perfect is the enemy of good enough. Just get started, just open up the door, just put one foot in front of the other, and so much will just open up for you.
Brandon, I love that so much, because it's funny that you used me as an example in the beginning of like, well, I can't do what Erica does. Because immediately my thought was, how many times in my life that I've thought I can't do that because somebody else is already doing that? And if I would have continued on in that belief system, I wouldn't be who I am today. And that point you made about we all have our special gift. We are this individual that has our individual piece that is so necessary in this puzzle that is all of us in the tapestry of life. Like, we all have this individual thread that is so, so necessary. And it's so important that we step in to our power of who we are as individuals and really own it, because that's how we are going to be lifting others. And the outcome of that, like what comes of that, we don't need to be concerned. Like, if I do a podcast and I'm worried about how many people are going to be listening to it, then no one's going to listen to it, because that's what I'm worried about. No, I'm putting that out there because I want to help people and I want to get this message out, and I know that it's important. And where it goes is not my concern, right? Like, just totally releasing the outcome and what it needs to be. Just doing what you do because you love it, and because it feels good, and because you're helping others. That's what's important.
Yeah, numbers never end, and that's such a thing in our society now. It's like, oh, how many followers do you have? How many, this, and it's something that I've had to be really careful of. I've never given much love to my social media. Meanwhile, other people, do. And then now we're in a world where so much is judged on it. And I'm like, I should have focused on this more, And it's like, no, it wasn't my highest excitement. I'm going to be authentic to myself. And so, it's just that. It's like, I always use the example when I was on I hung out with Charles Eisenstein once, and epic author, if you guys don't know him, and thought leader. And he was giving a talk, and he said, who's more important, Gandhi or Gandhi's grandmother, who helped to raise and shape him? Great question. You can be down at the coffee, at Starbucks, and make the biggest impact on the world possible. And meanwhile, me and Erica over here doing 5 episodes a week to try and help wake people up, but you just happen to be next to the future Gandhi, right, or whatever. So just like getting out of the idea of like these arbitrary numbers and projections, and this very analytical way of thinking, and that stuff has its place and purpose and time, but it's got to be kept in the right context. And if you're living your truth and following your heart and passion, like, you're going to be right where you're supposed to be.
So true. I love that Starbucks example because it helps you remember, it's kind of, again, takes the pressure off of, like, oh, when am I going to reach that place where I have a really big reach, or I'm doing the, big thing that you have the vision for. And it again, it takes the pressure off, because it's like, you never know. It could be tomorrow when you're not even thinking about the impact you're making, that you just have an impact. And so just always, again, like I think kind of the theme that we keep coming back to is managing your vibration from moment to moment. And it's like, as long as you're in that vibration, whatever you're doing is successful. So I love that little flip. Well, we have about 10 more minutes and we still have Abby up here on the stage. I'd really love to hear from you.
Can I share something on that real quick before you go to Abby? Sorry, I don't want or I'll wait. Go ahead, Abby. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's have Abby's been waiting
Yeah,
patiently.
go
So
ahead.
let's
I'm
have her
sorry.
share.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then Lou,
Yeah, but
okay.
Lou, please share afterwards.
Yes, please.
Thank you guys so much for inviting me up. I've never heard your podcast, but I love what you're saying. I am not new to manifestation or anything quantum related. And Brandon, I really resonated with what you were saying to Anna earlier. You were telling her, the way she was wording things were, it's not necessarily that it's negative, it's lower vibration. And that's one point that I have noticed with people is that we always introduce ourselves and talk our pain points and our traumas and our bad experiences. And you see it a lot on Clubhouse, as a matter of fact. People rarely begin with their high vibrational, good things, positive, wonderful things that have happened in their life. And a lot of it is a result of the duality, the polarity, like you were saying, it's either positive or negative. But a lot of good just happens too. And it really depends on what you decide to focus on. Erica, I do really love what you were saying about when you put too much importance on something, like your podcast, that it, or, followers, etc., that it tends to, be a major letdown. And I subscribe to a philosophy called reality transurfing. And in reality transurfing, they really discuss the importance of, like, basically the number one fundamental rule of nature is balancing forces. If we create excess potential for anything, the excess potential always will balance out. So it'll give us a negative outcome. It will give us the opposite of what we're looking for. So it's so important to set an intention and drop the importance and let it go. It's amazing how powerful that is in creating reality that you want, and really getting rid of victim mentality. You can be a creator or you can be a victim, and it's really, the choice is yours. You have one or the other. I will start listening to podcasts. There was so much more I wanted to say, but I'm going to go ahead and let Lewis talk. Thank you for inviting me up. I appreciate it.
No, I want to. No, I want to hear more about that.
I would love to chat with you all at some other point. This is definitely my school of thought here as well. So,
I was going to say, on the note of like vibration and creating our own reality, there's this whole theory among quantum mechanics that are attempting to synthesize physics and quantum mechanics, that everything that is possible to happen within the laws of physics does happen. That means everything that's possible happens. The question just is, does it happen here? And that's on a macro level of what we're up to. And it's all the way down to the cellular and the atomic level.
It's called the observer effect, if that's what I'm thinking you're talking about.
Yeah, it's part of that. And the question isn't what we can achieve, and it isn't what we can do, and isn't what we can be, it's which one we choose. Because everything that we can be, we are. The question is, are we that here? And are we creating that in our reality? And are we creating what we're up to in our existence? And again, that just continuously comes back to our vibration. Because if we're running at the vibration that creates the reality that we want, then it transfers across everyone that we come into contact to. And it creates itself in the world, and it makes our reality the one that we want.
I'd love to add just a piece that I've been learning as I study with Sonia Sophia on tapping and working with the body and somatic stuff. I'm finding it for myself that it's just really important to acknowledge, the shadow and the negative feelings and, all the kind of like darkness, because once you acknowledge it, you're giving it kind of like the love and intention, and you're sending love and attention to that aspect of self and then you're able to like move through it a lot easier. And that's really where the vibration shifting begins, is within that kind of shadow work.
Hi, Corey. I'm actually a trauma healer as well, so I do believe in acknowledging the pain points and the traumas because it's so important to release that emotion. But when we lead with our sad stories, we're not really in a point where we want to heal the emotion. We're not looking to. It's charged, is basically what I'm saying. It's still charged, and emotion is the energy of emotion. So the point in doing tapping or the core method or trauma healing or theta healing is to take that, feel the emotion, to release the emotion, express the emotion, and then when you think of the memory, the emotion's gone. It's no longer causing sickness in your body. So I'm all about sharing my past, sharing the bad parts of me. I really don't think that it's healthy to wear masks. We all wear masks, even to the point where we put filters on our pictures. That's a mask. We're afraid to let people see who we are. But at the same time, when we lead with our pain points, we are coming from, I don't know if you are aware of the Scale of Consciousness by Robert Anton Wilson. There's a whole bunch of models that are similar, but we're coming from a lower vibrational state. So I'm not saying we should never discuss it. I'm just saying it's not always conducive to having a healthy reality. I guess I'm having a hard time phrasing that, but
I'd love to pick up on this, Abby. I love everything you're saying and agree with it on a very personal level. And I think for me, it is a delicate dance of, not leading with your pain points, but also not repressing this shadow or dark dark history or aspect of yourself. And so something for me, when I was younger, when I was 19, I was arrested, and it was a very traumatic experience. And for a long time, I didn't want to talk about it. I was very shameful about it. And then I kind of turned a corner where I let that go. But then I started to navigate that line of, when do I bring it up? When do I not bring it up? Like, when is it appropriate? And when am I just kind of venting and wanting to let it out because I've kept it in for so long? And so a question that I ask myself when I'm feel called to share about, my experience or the trauma that I incurred because of it, I ask, is this helpful? Like, is this going to be helpful to the receiving person? Like, am I offering something that is in some way going to create healing for this person? Like, am I bringing it up just for me to personally kind of process and go through it, which, arguably can be a good thing as well. But what I really try to err on the side of is, I don't bring that up and I don't speak about it and share about it with people unless I feel that the person on the receiving end is going to get some sort of serious benefit from me offering my experience or my story. And that's kind of how I navigate that line of, when are you focusing on your trauma versus just repressing it?
Can I just ask on that, like, when is it, like, I guess when is it okay to like ask for support? Let's say you're like going through that, like,
when you need it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good answer.
And it's so interesting. This is all coming up. I've been dealing with a lot of my personal trauma and things coming up, and I also just, as I said, I just started a job, my first job out of graduate school as a speech language pathologist, and I'm working on 2 campuses at non-public schools for children with emotional disturbances. And so I'm stepping into like a world of trauma, and I'm realizing that, I believe empathing a lot of what I'm experiencing. And I had a really challenging night last night where I was like feeling this rush of emotions and trauma, and knowing that I could control it from one aspect of me, knowing that I like didn't have to feel this way, but this other aspect of me also knowing, you kind of want to feel this right now, like you need to feel these feelings, just feel them, and letting it flow through. And a big growth edge for me over the last year or so in my relationship with Brandon especially is asking for help, because I've felt in the past, like, oh, I have to figure out how to calm myself, or I have to figure this out myself. I don't want to burden someone else. I don't want to bring this trauma to someone else. Like, da da da. I had all these stories around it. And Brandon really helped me to see, like, it, basically the way he put it is like, for him, he's like, it's my job to manage my vibration. So don't feel like you're going to bring something to me that's going to throw off my vibration, because if that happens, that's on me, because I'm not managing my vibration. So we're in a relationship. I'm like, one of the most important parts of relationship, whether it be, it's not just romantic friendship, and parent relationships, sibling relationships, any kind of relationship. One of the most important aspects of a relationship is being able to support each other through these things. So I came to a moment last night where I was like, I need to ask for help. Like, I'm actually not able to calm myself right now. I need to ask for help. And I did. And just the act of asking for help and knowing that he was going to come, like, be with me in a minute, it was like, immediately my system was like, okay, you don't have to do this by yourself. It's not all on you. Somebody's coming. He's going to help. And so that's my long answer. The short answer: when you need it.
Thank you. Yeah, I know there's like a fine line between like, trying to know when it's like yours to manage versus when it's like you actually do need help, and that can be a gray area. I think I remember seeing a quote somewhere once that said like, you don't have to do it alone, but you have to do it alone. It was something like that.
It's so true. It is, as with most things in life, it's both.
Yeah, and it's just to speak to it for a moment. So yeah, she's definitely processing stuff that is just come. I think especially when we get on this path that many of us, all of us in this room, are on to some degree or another of, really expanding into the next greatest and grandest version of ourselves, and really on the sort of fast track of integrating with higher self and all of these things. It's like, then I think the opportunity comes up uh, for us to start, like, okay, you're at a point, like one of my favorite books, Oneness by Rasha, I call the Handbook for Ascension. She talks about, okay, as you become more of yourself, more of the butterfly self you are evolving into, there's going to be energetic blockages and things that are there that have just been waiting for you to be able to process and release them. And so I think for a lot of us, that's a thing. It's like, where is it? Like with her last night, it's like, where is this coming from? It's not mine. Is it, I'm starting to uh, work with these traumatized children. It's like, I've known many people who work in that sort of, a few people anyway, in that space who would like empath what, their energy, because it's all connected. It's all an extension of you in some way. And so, for me, it's like, okay, it was a parent in that moment. It's like, I don't, like you said, Corey, you don't have to do it alone, but you have to do it alone. She had to do it alone, but I could hold space for her to just, just by being there and allowing her to process the energy that was moving through her, literally through her shaking body. It sort of is an anchoring point, I think. And so we can certainly call for that and ask for that. It's like, we're all so good at giving. We all get really good at giving when we're on this path. It's in the receiving where it's so important too. And it's like, when you come, holding your bag of sugar to be filled, it will be examined to see how large it is. How much are you willing to accept? And really, that's oftentimes the most helpful thing you can do for humanity is making sure your own cup is filled, because if it's not, what good are you going to do to anyone?
Yes, beautiful. Thank you. We are getting to the hour point, so we are going to start wrapping up. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who came here today, because as I mentioned earlier, Brandon pops right up when the alarm goes off. He just like pops right up. Me, on the other hand, I'm still in bed. I almost didn't get on today. I was like, I don't know if I can do it, because as I said, I've gone through so much. And just to share a little bit more, it's like I was having like just constant flashes of really violent things and self-injurious things and all this stuff, and it was really scary last night. And then I went to work today and I'm doing a training all about, trauma informed care, and the guy doing the training starts sharing stories about, oh, I've had a kid do this and another kid do this and a 9-year-old do this, and as he's saying them, I'm like reliving these moments because I saw them last night, and I'm like, oh my God, I was like having premonitions about him sharing about this, and also I've experienced it, and it was just so much. It was so much energy, and I was really feeling today like what I need to do for myself. Again, bringing back the theme of managing your vibration is what just kept coming to me. Is the most important thing is I just need to manage my stress. I need to manage my vibration. Like I need to not worry about other people's expectations or what is happening here at the house. I need to just go home, take a bath, take a nap. That's it. Go home, take a bath, take a nap. That's it. That's all you have to do. And that was my plan. But then, I decided to get on here, and this brought me up. This lit me up. Like hearing all of you guys share what you guys are like tapping into, and all of the gratitude for Brandon and Erica and myself for the hard work that we're putting in, and hearing that it's having an impact on your life, and having a space to openly share about what I'm going through. Because I think, one of the biggest things for me in the past has been feeling so alone, and like how could I share this with someone, because I'm gonna, like, oh, you should probably, just not understanding the full deep layers of it that, Brandon and you guys are able to share with me, that I know that, yes, this is me, this is something that I need to work through. I'm not going to pass off all of all of it to these children that I'm connecting with, but 70 on my caseload. And if you believe in energetic ties, and I'm just stepping into picking up 70 of these traumatized children, you can imagine. But being able to openly share about this with a group of people that understand that is very healing. And so I'm very grateful. And I want to connect more with all of you. And so please, we are continuing to do these every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. If you click on Brandon and I's profile, just take a minute now, follow us, follow each other, turn on notifications, and you'll be notified when we do our share. And also, Brandon is doing monthly Zoom conversations. So that's Thea was talking about how we were chatting with her recently this week. That was at our last Zoom gathering. We're doing those once a month. So the last one was this past Sunday, so it'll be about another month. And if you're interested in any or all of that, you can go to goldenkey.gift. If you click on my profile, you'll see that URL. And at goldenkey.gift, you'll see more about the book. You can download the book, The Golden Key, with code Clubhouse. You'll receive it as a gift. And you can also learn more about the golden game that goes with it, and these Zoom gatherings, and just a little bit more about Brandon, what he's doing, his other projects, and all of that. So with that being said, thank you all. Abby, I see your mic off, so please.
I just want to say I would love to chat with you sometime about activating your ascending and descending energy flows to create a kind of an energetic shield where you can still love people, but you don't take on their energy, and also zipping off your energy at the end of the day, because I am also very susceptible to other people's energy. So I've had a few things that I've had to learn, and I would love to chat with you sometime about it. It might help you a little bit.
Yes, ma'am. I already followed you on Instagram and was intending to reach out to you, because I was like, it is no coincidence that we have someone very informed and dealing with trauma stepping on the stage. So definitely thank you for extending that offer. I'm 100% going to take you up on that.
Great. It's been fun.
Awesome. And Luba and Maria, I hope you guys, I know Maria, you were here last week. You can come back next week. Luba, you got on stage right as we're winding down. We have an event to go to that's happening here, as I was talking about earlier, but I would love to see you back next time and connect with you. And, I'm sure you have some great stuff to share. And thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All
Thanks
Thanks,
so
right.
Brandon.
much.
Until next time, everyone, journey well. Thank you for being such beautiful reflections.
Love you all.
Also, quickly, before we sign off, I wanted to remind you to download the Golden Key, audio or ebook, as my free gift to you at goldenkey.gift using the code POSITIVEHEAD. I also wanted to remind you that I will now be doing a live Q&A every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time on the new social audio app Clubhouse. I have really been wanting to connect and interact with all of you more for quite some time, and I'm super excited to now have 2 new ways to do it. First, if you're already on Clubhouse, be sure to follow me and click the little bell on my profile and select to always be notified when I go live on the Clubhouse app. And if you'd like to connect on an even more intimate Zoom gathering once a month, now you can do that too by registering at goldenkey.gift.